I'm a recent convert to the Catholic Church.
Welcome.
I've asked different people and gotten many different answers.
I'll give you a different one.
How much should I put in the collection plate? Do we still do a 10% tithe?
What you want to do is send as much money to you as you can to Charles Coulombe.
Oh, I knew that was coming.
Oh, well, all right.
Hey.
Well, if you can afford 10%, do it. But wait a minute, so what are the question?
No, it's just do we still do the 10% and how much should he put in?
All right, well, firstly, let me tell you, the vast majority of Catholics put in very little. The vast majority of Catholics put in $1 a Sunday. And bearing in mind that only a small minority actually go every Sunday, that's not a lot of money. All right. I don't want to say we're cheap, but we're cheap. Having said that, it's not like we get much in return for our buck. In so many parishes, if you need the last rites for somebody, or if you need to go to confession and it's not on that single hour on Saturday, it's hard. It's hard. And the same is true in a lot of other ways. I mean, I remember a friend of mine whose Anglican parish were coming into the church when the ordinariate first started up, and he complained to me, "We haven't gotten any pastoral care from your bishops at all." And he started laughing, and as soon as I stopped, I said, "Look, we don't either. You don't turn to a bishop for pastoral care. They're corporate managers. They're like, government employees of the Church of England. There's no pastoral care. You just don't get that." Okay, well, I was maybe exaggerating, maybe not. The point I'm making is that you've got a sort of symbiosis here of Catholics not getting much out of the church and not putting much in either. The tithe is what we were expected to do back in the day. In medieval Europe, they had buildings called tithe barns.
Okay.
Now, these were buildings, you just remember, most people, not being a money economy, most people, their 10% did not come out of cash. It came out of whatever they raised.
Oh, okay.
And then the church.
Oh, I see where this is going.
Yes, you do. And the tithe barn was where the tithes were kept.
Animals, livestock, whatever.
Crops, whatever was brought in. It went into the tithe barn to await sale to keep the church going.
Interesting.
Yeah. And of course, now mind you, not all of it went to sale, some of it went to charity. In other words, of that 10%, say of grain, well, obviously the parish pulled in a great deal of wheat, and in Catholic days, the poor people were dependent upon the parish for being supported. That's why in some of your older English novels they talk about somebody being on the parish. That's what that means.
Okay. Kind of like on welfare.
Yeah.
On the parish.
They're on the parish. That was like being on welfare.
Okay.
On the dole. Is on the parish. Ah, poor old Sim, he's on the parish now, That's how that went. So,
okay.
But, of course, that was then, this is now. And as I say, most parishes do not provide a great deal of decent Catholic catechetical, devotional, or liturgical life. But you do have an obligation to support the church. It's a precept of the church. So how do you do that? Well, my suggestion is that you give what you get. In other words, let's say you've got a parish that you're, for whatever reason, you're still able to stomach, but the priest never teaches the faith, the liturgy is a slapdash, everything's pretty awful. Find a Catholic cause, whether it be the diocese or a charity or a cause for beatification or anything at all you like. Some Catholic cause to which you can devote the majority of what you give the church. Now, you owe your parish something, if only because it costs to keep the lights on and to give you communion. So you owe them for that. So give them $1 or $2 at Mass, and then give the bulk of your donations to any Catholic cause or causes you think are worthwhile. And then make sure your pastor gets copies of the receipts you get, so he can see precisely how much money he's not getting out of you. And when he asks you why, you can tell him, well, the really slapdash liturgies you give? You remember saying that it doesn't really matter what you believe as long as you're a nice person? Do you recall the banjos you have at High Mass? That's why. I want to support that. If you want more of my money, Father, then try being more Catholic, and we'll see. But if you don't need my money, that's fine too. Obviously, the Cardinal Kung Foundation, who are aiding the underground church in China, they're doing okay with the money you're not getting.
Okay. I'm gonna read some facts here from AmericanMagazine.org.
Okay?
Quote, "The final supply factor, and perhaps the one that should be of most concern, is that Catholics are notoriously low givers to their church. Survey after survey has established that Catholics contribute about half as much to their parish as Protestants contribute to their congregation. 1.1 to 1.2% of household income for Catholics, 2.2 to 2.5% for Protestants. To put this in context, if the typical Catholic household contributed at the same rate as the typical Protestant household, U.S. Catholic parishes would receive an additional $8 billion in contributions annually." Wow.
So what? I mean, number one, as I say, it's a chicken and egg thing. Protestant congregations tend to give more to their members than Catholic congregations do. They tend to be a bigger part of their lives. If Protestant congregants are sick, they're all over them. There are a ton of classes and this and that they do. They're very, very busy people. They don't have the sacraments, so they try to make up for it unconsciously in lots of other stuff. Their pastors, of course, remember that the average Protestant congregation is a lot smaller than the average Catholic church. And remember also that not all, but a number of their denominations don't require the many years of preparation, to say nothing of celibacy, that we require of our priests. So you have a lot more Protestant ministers, you have a lot more Protestant congregations, and on a human scale, they tend to do a lot more for their flock than we do for ours. So yeah, they get more. They give more, I should say, because they get more. Yet, I also know that every parish I've ever heard of that really tries to give its people the totality of the Catholic faith generally brings in a lot of dough. And that's not by accident. A friend of mine, I don't want to mention names, is Father Christopher Phillips in San Antonio, Texas. He started his parish literally with nothing. It ended up becoming the largest moneymaker in that archdiocese. And when his brother priests would say, how do you do that? You just look at them and say, I preach the Catholic faith, and people will pay, they'll come and they'll pay for it. But that's a reality that a lot of our clergy, from the top to the bottom, don't really pick up on. They think that what people really want to hear is the latest drivel out of someplace in, like Notre Dame or wherever, or Collegeville. Or they think that what their flock want to hear are the sort of platitudes you could pick up from a Hallmark special. That's not what people want to hear. They are not coming to you, Reverend Fathers, to be told, Jesus was nice, you be nice too. That's, no. But if that's what your message is going to be, don't expect a great deal of payment for it.